Doctor Who. Doctor Who Season 6, the second season with Matt Smith, finished a couple of days ago for me. I watched it just yesterday, and this all coincides with me getting a lovely camera all of my own. So, let's talk about Doctor Who and review what they've been doing with it so far. So, first off, Matt Smith. He's done 2 seasons so far, and he has grown into the role incredibly well. I really like what he's done with it. I was quite interested because he didn't know anything about Doctor Who. He, when he started, he did say, well, I didn't watch any Doctor Who. It was before, it was before my time. I didn't grow up with it. My parents spoke about it a wee bit, and that was it. So what interests me is that what he seems to have taken as his Doctors are the classic ones, the black and white ones. William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, you can really see them come out in his performance. There's a lot of hands like this, which is very Patrick Troughton. He holds himself, he does this a lot, and holds himself with his chin out, which is very William Hartnell. That's really nice to see him embrace the classic, the old Doctors rather than the modern Doctors. Really goes back to the roots. It also makes him feel sort of the way people have described him, which is as an old man in a young man's body. And he does feel like that. He does very much feel like he's desperately clinging on to his last few days of life, and that he kind of knows that impending doom is inevitable. I really like that. So yeah, Matt Smith's doing really well. The other characters, I like Amy. Amy, everybody likes Amy. Amy's really good. It's really nice. She's the right mix of being independent. She doesn't need the Doctor to look out for her as a person, but can get in over her head and does need to cry for help when need be, because that has to be there. But you find, like with Martha Jones as a prime example, who just, oh, Doctor, help me, and she annoyed me so much. So yeah, so Amy's great. Rory is a whole essay onto himself of why he's good and why he's bad. Those kind of have to get covered as we go through the episodes. So, before doing the new season, I want to very quickly go over Season 5, the 5th season, and the episodes in that, and give you my opinion, just so you know where I'm coming from. Where's the booklet? There it is. Yes, I have the fancy Blu-ray edition. It's awesome. This season I thought they did very well. The first Matt Smith season does a few things right. Let's start with the first episode, the 11th hour. The regeneration and the reboot of this series. It does a lot of things right. I watched it originally. I watched this twice when it first came out. I watched it once with my girlfriend and once with my brother. And when I watched it originally, I was a bit, I'm not. I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure. And then I watched it a second time. I was like, that was spot on. They nailed it. And I think it was just the big shift of story and editing style and the new and all the new stuff. They just had to sink in. A couple of things with it were obviously Matt Smith was very explosive very quickly, and it took a little bit to get used to that. They also kind of had to nail how this Doctor reacts and acts in situations and really show the audience, and it really felt like a how-to guide. Things like they do the phone, where he follows people's cameras and it almost goes tick, 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 to end up with Rory being the one person facing the wrong way, taking a photo of something that should be completely unimportant. And it's very Sherlock Holmes in the way, you know, it's the deduction and seeing things that other people don't see, which again is very Patrick Troughton, Tour of the Cybermen. Has the famous line, "Oh, I have my methods of working things out." "Oh, really, Doctor? And what are these?" "By keeping my eyes open and my mouth shut." Good line, fun to say. So, you know, and it really was a how-to guide on how this Doctor acts and thinks, and the fact that he is crazy. He likes fish custard, which has gone down in the annals of time of being hilarious. I do think, having rewatched that scene though, it's a little overkill. They could have knocked out a couple of "I don't like this, I don't like this." It just kind of goes on a little bit too long in my opinion. But they do really well in that episode. They have a good fight. They do the Doctor really well at the end when he walks in and he's in his new suit. You know, "This is me now. This is how I'm going to dress for the season. I have settled into my regeneration. Hello, I'm the Doctor." What it also does is that episode's awesome because it does at the end when it's like, what has terrorized this world and who defends it, and it is the first time that they full stop, no arguments, turn around and go, "The old stuff is in canon. We are keeping it." They show all footage, they show all the Doctors, no nonsense, really nice to see. And then you have Matt Smith walking through and you're just like, "Oh, that's awesome, that's really cool." So, great fun stuff, nice villain, really good reboot. That's an important episode. So from there we can go a bit more quickly. That one's quite an important one to cover though. Beast Below was a fun episode, was a bit filler. I felt it was a little bit early. I think the big thing with Beast Below, I felt, was the ending with Amy saving him, going, "I've got you," and things like that, was a little bit fast. If they kept that ending style for a couple more in, it would have been a bit more, I think it would have felt more comfortable, because it would have felt more like, you know, they've grown this bond, but they've known each other for all of about 4 hours properly. It doesn't work in my opinion. Apart from that, the episode's okay. Yeah, it's alright. And what do we have after that? Below. Victory of the Daleks. Victory of the Daleks is one of these ones. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I thought originally I was a bit about it, but then I found out what it was and what they were doing. I do watch the confidentials, so I keep abreast of sort of what the writers are doing and why. And the big thing was that they were sick fed up of having to write stories of how the Daleks came back because of the Time War and things like that. So they wrote an episode literally just to reboot the Daleks and go, "They're back, full stop, peace off." And now they've laid them to rest, and we'll get the Daleks back again later, which I think is a good idea, but it means that they don't have to muck about. Liked it, loved it, very nice. I did enjoy that. And apart from that, the episode was a good laugh. Of course, the Jammy Dodger scene was funny. What do I think of the new Daleks? I don't mind them. Obviously, there's all the jokes of Fear the Rainbow. and whatnot, which are very true. They were a bit funny. The reason why they made them multicolored, which is interesting, is because they were fans of the Peter Cushing movies, the two actual movies they made for the world, for Dalek Mania, where because they were all filmed in Technicolor, they had the Daleks on painted funny colours, because obviously TV and all the Dalek stories on TV were black and white. So you had sort of grey Dalek and less grey Dalek, which is ridiculous. So that's why they did the multicoloured, because they were fans of that. And they literally said, we made them multicoloured because we wanted to. And actually, I completely agree. I think this is one of the things, is that sometimes they make decisions that I don't agree with, but then they turn around and go, we did it because we wanted to, because we're fans, and this is what we, and then suddenly I'm like, yeah, all right, actually, I kind of have to give you that one. So yeah, Victory of the Daleks did its job. It was a fun little filler. It was funny to see them running around with the war room, and they also do a lot of, I think it's Power of the Daleks references with the whole "I am your soldier," which is linked to the line where the Daleks in the storyline. This is again a Patrick Troughton story where they're wandering around pretending to be servants, but working in the background, and they're going, "I am your servant," and nice little cameo for that there. Nice little thing.